By now, I'm sure you're all familiar with transitions. So if I want a transition between the base footage and this footage of Liverpool that I've got, you can have a cut like that. Or if you want an actual fade, you can go into your dissolves and you can put a cross dissolve and it acts exactly as you want. And of course, as you're probably familiar as well, you can just drag the length of the dissolve so it takes more time to get there. So this is all good. This is standard stuff. However, supposing you want to be a little bit more creative, then because of a new feature in Premiere, I mean, you could do this before, but it's a little bit more long-winded. But due to new motion controls, it's become much easier. And this is using masks to affect the luma levels of the video to give a more dynamic transition. So I'm a great believer in doing and not talking. So what we're going to do is create this now. So the important thing is make sure you're not clicked on any of your video, because otherwise the minute you go to draw, it'll do a mask. So click off. Doesn't really matter where the playing head is at the moment. And the other thing that you want to do is zoom out. So I'm going to zoom out to 25%, and I'm also going to put the safe margins on, because that gives me an indication of where the center of the video is, which is pretty handy. You've got all sorts of different things there, but that's useful. And then I'm going to get my draw tool here, the rectangle tool, and I'm going to draw a rectangle, any old how first, doesn't really matter, because I can then edit like so. And I'm just going to pull that over there. Now, the thing to remember when you're using boxes like this, black means you can't see your video and white means you see it as normal when you use it as a luma mask. So we're going to start with nothing, which is going to be the black. And then we're going to duplicate this. So you can either go copy and paste using your mouse, or you can just go Control C and Control V and achieve the same thing. We're going to move this along a bit to here. And then we're going to set this a little bit lighter, like so. And again, you could just select both of them if you like, Control C, Control V, and now I've got two more. And we can move these over here. And we'll do the same thing to the value of the color value. So here we go. We're going to make this a little bit lighter still. And then likewise with this other one. By the way, I press Shift, held down Shift in order to select more than one item. So we got this one now. It's going to be lighter still. You can kind of see the pattern, can't you? So we're going to do another 4 more. So press, hold down Shift, click on the bottom, Control C, Control V, and now we've got another 4. And again, if you hold down your Shift, you can move all of them one go. And Bob is your monkey. Right. Going to raise this one again. So there you see a graduation. So the big question I guess you're all asking is, how exactly will this affect the video? Well, easy way to find out is to, first of all, let's stretch that out so that's over the whole lot. And then we're going to tell this bit of video to go through this graphic and use the different levels of gray in the graphic to allow as much transparency to sort of give like a graduated introduction. It's a bit hard to explain. It's much easier to show. So let's just look for track, matte key, put that on here on the video that you want to come through. Then select which track it's on, which in this case is track 4. And then remember, it's not an alpha one. It's not a transparency. It's based on luma. And there, and now you can see the different levels of white, how they let through the video. Now at this point you could say, great, all I need to then do is animate. So start off the screen over here, and this is why it's quite nice to be zoomed out, and then come over here a bit and go off the screen. But as you can see, that white video is just showing one sort of vertical stripe of video. So again, you can probably guess that this fix is super, super easy. Find it and just spread it across, and then that's it. And here you go. So you've got a nice controllable transition that you can make sort of bigger duration. And it's very simple. So the thing was, why not just use the regular motion? So I'm going to take that off and put it back to what it should be. So that's now where it should be. Now, if I use this motion, can you see this motion only affects what is within the viewport? So despite the fact I've drawn the box over to the right, it's still cutting it off. And that's what made it difficult in the past. So now you know that. You know the trick is use this one. Start off the screen, move along to how long you think it should be for, and then stop off the screen. But of course, because you've designed these, you've got a bit more control. So we can always go here to all this lot. Let's get it roughly in the center so that we can see what we're doing. And we're going to select all of it. And we're going to draw it up. And of course, what you could do is you could use your rotation controls as well. So why not? So we start there and we'll rotate it. And now, because it's a bit longer, we have more to play with. So now that's coming in like that. At this point, 0 rotation. So you're getting more, almost like a curtain kind of thing. I mean, you could make it even more deliberate. And remember, you've got your position up here. So you could move it there. So now let's do a circular transition using the scale rather than the movement. So usual thing, just make sure the track mat key is not active. Make sure you're not selected on, you haven't got either bit of footage selected. Make sure your mask is circular, and just by clicking and holding, you get the option of a square or a pen or a ellipse. And to get a perfectly round ellipse, you need to hold your shift key down. And this is going to be where your video is going to appear. So as you know from before, it needs to be white. So I'm going to do white there. Then what I'm going to do is duplicate this. So Control C, Control V. Now I'm clicking above it because I want that white to be right at the front. Otherwise, all you'll see is the last color you've done, because this one's going to be bigger. So we're going to go 150. So this is the bigger one. And we're going to make it a little darker. Can you see? There you go. You've got your 2 now. So all we've got to do is line that up. And then we're going to duplicate it again. It's pretty mundane, but it does work. Now, the only problem is it tends to put them down the bottom here. So you have to click and drag and move them back up the top. And then we're going to do 200. And we're going to make this one darker still. And then move it into position. But you can also see that, you know, by putting them off center, you could get an interesting effect as well. It doesn't have to be all symmetrical like this. So there are so many. Remember, it always does it at the bottom and then bring it up. And then we're going to make this 250. And then darker still. Oops. Make sure it's selected would be a really good idea. Okay. Then we're going to duplicate that yet again. And I think this can be... No, we'll keep going because I think it'll look quite nice. 300. And to make that darker still. Okay, and then the final one is going to be our black one. Remember, that's the one that blocks everything. Move it back up to the top so it's beneath everything. We're going to make this one 350. In fact, just as big as it needs to be to cover the rest of the frame. So it could be a square one, doesn't have to be round. See roughly how it's looking. Okay. So that's that. Now we're going to turn our track mat back on so we can have a little look, and you can see this effect here. So I'm going to fit, take the guides off, and then think about your scale. So very simply, starts off so this could be either way. So now you know about the black being no video and white being all the video. How about using gradients as well? If you click on your rectangular tool and draw a rectangle, don't worry about the size. We can then just click on it and stretch that out. I would suggest on this one, zoom right out. So we got that one. Now at this stage, what I would recommend doing is duplicate, because you're going to need a white one anyway. So we're now going to, this will be the one that ends up on, and we're going to move this right over here in line. And now we're going to concentrate on this one, which will be your graduated box. Now then, we're going to take off the trap max that you can see. So at the moment you can see it's pure white. So to make a graduated box, make sure it's active, so it's got a tick, and double click on it. And at the top, linear gradient. And as luck would have it, this is from black to white. But if it wasn't, click on them, move it to black, click it on this one, move it to white. And that's it. Then what you can do is turn your track mat on, and you'll see you've got this beautiful graduation. So it stands to reason then, using your vector motion, move it off the picture, pick a suitable time interval, and remember you need to move it right onto the white, which is your second box. And that's it. So now when we play that, we have a beautiful graduated transition. So here you go, your other video is playing but is invisible because it's black, and as the graduation comes across, the other one comes through. So that's it. So it's all limited by your imagination. You can do the same thing with text as well. You could have a massive overlaid text in all different shades from black to white, and you know, it just very creative and quite a lot of fun. A bit of a pain to set up, it is true, but ultimately rewarding and allows you to quite quickly, without using any other program, because I appreciate some people aren't familiar with Photoshop or After Effects, all the rest. Just sticking within Premiere, you can do some really nice transitions. I hope that was of some help.